What's up, guys? Welcome back for another coach's interview. I'm going to apologize in advance if you think that this is just me talking to myself, because I have heard that we sound alike. I don't know if that's true, but the guy joining me that may or may not be me faking an accent to be in two places at once is Fizzy Stardust, coach of the Atlanta HAWLUCHAS. So,
Yes, this is your Cali boy accent you're putting on right now. It's good.
yeah, it seems strong. It feels
Yeah,
strong, you
yeah.
know?
It's great. It's
Yeah.
great. Later you can drink a glass of water and then sound like me. And
At the same time.
yeah, that'll be your show.
Yeah, it's a good show. People will pay moderate dollars for
People will
this.
buy 2 drinks minimum to watch you perform that act.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not about getting the big bucks down. It's about the steady trickle of income. That's the
yeah.
secret to
You
Vegas.
gotta you gotta chip away at it.
So, talking about GBAs and Pokemans, that stuff. This is pretty much the only Pokemon stuff you do now, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
pretty much exclusively because you love trading, right?
Yeah,
Like that's it.
I mentioned in the chat a couple of times that if I could just get a proxy battler and maintain the full front office, of the Atlanta Haluchas, I would do it. I would do it in a heartbeat.
You heard it here first, folks. If you want to apply for the position of Shadow Battler, where you get to do all of the weekly prep and battling work for Fizzy Stardust without anyone ever acknowledging your existence or any
Yeah,
actual input into the branding, please apply at Fizzy Stardust's Twitter.
yeah, you'll be Battler X.
Yeah.
Also, I'm gonna kill Steve.
Why?
Uh, well, I'm going through our doc that we share,
Yeah.
and I swear, for the love of
The
God,
singular Halucha. It drives you.
yes, it,
That's
the,
it. Go on the record right now. What is the
it's
official team name?
it's the Atlanta Haluchas with an S,
Haluchas. It's plural. There's a
plural,
flock of Haluchas.
as in the sports team that it is meant to emulate.
All right. So anyone that says Halucha singular, you're not gonna be the Shadow Battler.
No,
That's
no, I will
instant,
powerbomb you through a ladder through a table.
instant disqualification as his
Yes.
surrogate.
I actually put out some feelers on Twitter to hire more people for the front office.
How do you need help with the front office? You seem to be doing all
uh,
right. You've managed to do more trades in a single season than any other coach of all other seasons combined.
uh,
Like,
well, um, I get a little ahead of myself sometimes, and I like to have someone to like a soundboard and bounce ideas off of. Um, so I mean, whether
so you're saying you need someone to stop you from your trade addiction.
I wouldn't go that far. It's just like if I'm making like a really terrible move and it's blatant, but I don't see it right away, I'd like to know.
Okay, so for people that don't really grasp the full impact of Fizz's trade blitzkrieg, he is tied with Joe for only having two members returning out of a potential seven. Yeah, out of a
Yeah,
potential
7.
seven, he has two, which is the same amount that Joe has. However, I believe Fizz had altered his draft spots, his draft slots, something like 5 times.
Um, well, let's
something
think
along
about it.
something along the lines of 5 times for 3 picks minimum.
Yeah,
So,
because I started out with Kyle's first, and then I acquired Gubbs's first in a trade,
and
and
then you
Steve's
got
first.
Steve's first,
Well,
yeah.
I got Steve's first and Kyle's first, and then I traded Kyle's first for Gubbs first for Salomon's Dragonite swap,
Then you
which I still like.
traded Steve's for Danza's first and got Danza's second round,
I
or no?
what did I do? Oh, I traded. Well, this is the most recent one, right?
Yeah, this was right before the
I
draft.
traded Steve's and Gubbs's first with Mew to Danza for Gengar, uh, his first and his second.
Okay.
Yeah. So it notched me the second and third overall picks of this draft, which led me to have such a strong draft.
Yeah, a strong draft and a crazy inherited team. Um,
Yeah.
you have 3 of 4 Musketeers.
Mm-hmm. I got Virizion in a trade as well.
Yes,
I,
you did
I was
get
able.
Virizion in a trade
Yeah.
during the draft,
Yep.
in mid-draft.
I actually made 2 trades during the draft.
Yeah. All right, so that was Virizion for Pinsir, which you offloaded wonderfully.
Yeah,
And
and I sent Dan's second pick that I picked up in that first trade that we talked about.
yeah, and then you also traded away the voluptuous Gudra for Rotom Heat.
I did. I just Gudra wasn't. I liked Gudra a lot, but the way my team was shaping up, I just didn't want to have Gudra and Dragonite on the same
Yeah, I
team.
mean, your traditionally special wall should not have like the same shared weakness as your sweeper, because that's just
Right,
asking for trouble.
right. And since I picked up Sylveon, I mean, there was really no use for Gudra at that point.
Yeah, a little
As
bit
much as I
redundant.
do I like Gudra a lot.
Yeah. So that said, if you followed along with that and made your own flowchart, please post a link to it. I
Yeah.
want to see like Madden-esque diagrams of everything that happened.
I love flowcharts. I will help with all the information you need if you just let me know what you need, and we'll make a flowchart out of this.
So that being said, how you feel about the team right now?
The team feels really strong.
Oh wait, we should also say you literally just did another trade about 2 hours ago.
Yeah, earlier today. Actually, I don't even think I announced it on Twitter yet, but earlier today
Well, the
I
video will go
traded.
up well after that. So
Oh
yeah.
yeah, well, on the 6th of January, I traded Chandelure 1-for-1 to the Ducklets for Reuniclus.
Yeah. So okay. So now that that's said, how do you feel about your team?
Well, I feel I feel pretty good about it. Although I am in talks with another trade, but I won't discuss. I don't want to discuss it right now. So,
Oh,
yes,
I gotta talk to you about that on Skype
yeah.
then. I want to know who's hungry.
It's something that we talked about before.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
good.
I don't want to leak
Yeah.
it, but
Yeah, no. You won't wait.
it's
Make
something that they're considering right now, and I think it will be a fine addition to my team if it happens. But
that said, you still got a good team. You
yeah,
got, like you've got like 3 things in 2 pairs that share weaknesses,
yeah,
but they also kind of cover each other's weaknesses.
right, right. Well, my main fear right now is the moment Nick picked Halucha, I was like, oh,
That's a problem.
uh,
That's a problem.
because we got set up in the same division, and I'm like, oh well, flying, okay, fighting, yeah. so so after I picked my back-to-back Sylveon and Terrakion for the second and third picks, I was really hoping for Skarmory to, or Gubbs not to take Skarmory, but
Yeah. It
But
was pretty well understood what the top 3 picks were gonna be. It was
right,
just a matter of who took them in what order, and before
right,
you managed to get 2 and 3, it was kind of like, okay, who's gonna grab what where, and what
right.
will fall to 4. You getting 2 and 3 made it a lot simpler. Whatever Cubs didn't get, you were gonna get. So
Exactly, and I felt really strongly about that move. Although I miss Mew a lot, but I like what I gained.
yeah,
Um,
Gengar's good.
yeah, Gengar is good, and having Terrakion along with Sylveon is also really nice.
Yeah, I think they're gonna do a lot of work for you. The fairy component was very missing from your team last season, but
Yeah, it was really rough last year without having a fairy. I mean, I had one for a while. I had Slurpuff, but I used it once. It did nothing because I was already so deep in.
Yeah.
and it just wasn't the fairy I needed.
No.
Sylveon is 100% the fairy I needed.
That's the thing. The fairy pool is already very small. The viable fairy pool is even smaller.
Right.
The fairy pool with any kind of versatility is nearly non-existent. They're pretty much all one-trick ponies, except
Right.
for maybe Clefable.
Yeah. Yeah. Clefable is pretty. I like Clefable a lot.
Yeah.
He's got a lot he can do. He always has, and giving him fairy is just awesome.
Yeah, it was a great upgrade for that thing.
Yeah.
So that being said, you've got that. You know your divisions. How you feel about your division?
Um.
It's you, Nick, Shady, and Miguel.
Right. Right. I mean, Nick is gonna be rough just because he's got HAWLUCHAS like a hard counter, not counter, but it can just sweep
Halucha
everything.
does a lot to a lot of teams.
Right. I was actually gonna pick HAWLUCHA too, but whatever. I think me and Nick are gonna have a lot of fun this year playing each other. We both have a lot of knowledge of each other's play styles, and what we're thinking. I think I can get in his head a little bit. I think we split that series probably.
Yeah.
Uh, but other than that, I mean, not a lot scares me. Shady's team doesn't really scare me. Um, it's got some things on it, it's a couple threats, but I think I can handle. I think I can handle the division.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident in what I got going.
How do you feel out of division? Because your compatriots in your conference is Gubbs, Kote, Danza, Roger.
Mhm.
There's some scary things over there too.
Absolutely.
Kote
Even
getting the Swampert.
even Dan the newcomer, or
Yeah.
no, wait, yeah, that is the right.
No,
Okay.
he's not in your conference. It's
Oh, he's not.
Danza and yeah.
Okay.
So
Oh,
yeah,
that's right. He's this other team.
yeah,
I'm still getting a handle on which new
yeah,
owners are which team. But yeah. I mean, Gubbs obviously is a big threat. I mean, Nick and Gubbs are huge threats, and then you got to worry about the Premier Rain team.
yeah.
I mean, that's just a monster threat. I have I haven't put much thought into how I'm going to deal with any of that quite yet. Um, I'm just going to try and take it as it comes, and do my usual game plan week to week. I don't want to get way too ahead of myself because I know me, and I'll start snowballing ideas and get stuck.
Well, that's
I
good.
mean,
It's important to kind of know what's going to trip you up, and you can avoid
yeah.
it.
I mean, you were there last year when I was babbling on and on about Charizard X, and I was like, if this thing gets Dragon Dance off, I'm screwed.
Yeah, that was a long conversation of like, what can I do for Charizard X? Didn't even like end up being a problem.
He didn't bring it.
Yeah. That's a
Oh man.
pitfall of the format, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing
Yeah.
kind of everybody has to struggle with. It's like, how much do I plan and how much of it turns into over planning and,
Right.
like,
I mean, that game ended up working out for me. I mean, but I had two things that were specifically for Charizard
Charizard
X.
X.
I made a defensive Keldeo,
Yeah.
which
Hey,
props to you.
it,
That was your idea,
it did work. It killed one
and it did
thing.
work. It did work. I just came up with a spread, which I wish I could remember, but
It was
yeah,
something
it's
ridiculous. It was like 80 defense and
yeah.
something.
I worked hard as shit on that thing. But there is that, and then there's Scarf Aerodactyl, which
Yeah.
gave me a huge advantage
Yeah.
because in that week I led Aerodactyl and he led Scarf Thunderous, and he stayed in.
Yeah, because who scarfs an Aerodactyl?
Yeah,
Who does that?
Fizzy fucking Stardust.
That's it. That's who
Yeah,
does it.
but
So that being said, like you did last year, and you were in it for quite a while. Like
yeah,
you
right down
were.
to the wire actually.
Yeah,
In
it
my
was.
last few games that I didn't end up winning were all really close.
Yeah. So that being said, are you changing things up this year? Are you looking at it differently now that you have a season under your belt, or you just gonna home what you've got, or what's the plan? What's the
Well,
roadmap to success for the HAWLUCHAS?
well, I think for the most part, we're gonna do the same things that we did last year. We're just gonna do them a little bit better.
Yeah.
We got, I think, a vastly better team than I had last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Much in part thanks to the draft and some trades I made. Um, well, I think all the trades I made, just looking at them all, I'm just like, the team that I put together with these trades are phenomenal. I put in a lot of work to make all these moves, and I think they're working out. I think they will work out really nicely. The whole I've been joking around throughout the draft on Twitter about the Hulk smash approach,
Yeah.
which I don't. That might not be a bad idea.
It's a real threat. I mean, when one of your Hulks is Terrakion and other one's Dragonite, Mega Gyarados, like on the
Mhm.
special side, Gengar and Keldeo, like those are some Hulks, man.
Even
Those,
Sylveon hits really hard.
yeah,
It
that's one of
can if
the
I want it to.
that's one of I mean, Sylveon won John several matches last season
Yeah.
just because, like, in addition to the fact that it doesn't die, it also kills the things that are trying to kill it, helping it not die further. You know, like
Right.
that's huge. Um, so all right, who do you want to play the most?
Oh. 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 That's really tough. Um. Who do I want to play the most? I think. I think just the people that I know the best.
Your friends, the buddy
Yeah.
club. All right.
Yeah. I mean, I am excited always to play Nick.
Yeah.
Excited and worried. It's always like it's a double thing because
Nick's a
uh,
scary guy. Like to
it can.
battle.
I feel like it can go either way, and he's done a lot. To put together. I mean, last year's team was just so weird that he had,
Yeah.
and it works for him.
Yeah. This year's team also weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Um.
That Hippowdon Halucha draft.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Uh,
All right.
I'm not entirely sure what hip out on. I think that was his response to Terrakion.
Yeah,
But
I mean, it doesn't die, so
yeah,
Wait till you get swept by Baton Pass Scolipede into Hippowdon, though. Like, because Nick will be the
God,
one to do it, Like.
I'll quit the league. Because I'm sure Bronzong will should deal with it somehow.
Yeah, sure. You just run Levitate and Heat Proof at the same time, so he can't get you with Fire Fang.
Oh
You
man,
just run Heat Proof on a balloon. There you go.
yeah. See, now we're talking. Now you're in my wheelhouse now.
All right. So, who do you want to play the least?
Who do I want to play the least? Oh goodness sake. I mean, oh man. I think
Also Nick. It's also
yeah,
Nick.
also Nick. I think probably the scariest team I see might just be the Leafeons.
Yeah, that's a scary team.
I mean, it's not just a rain team. It's really well put together. It's not just like rain abusers thrown together. I mean, he's got a Moongus and Quagsire and Tornadus, and he's got a lot of great pieces for that team. Fortress also,
Yeah,
his
he's
new
got
addition.
a lot of things that work in and out of the rain, and like
Yeah,
Manaphy will just, as soon as it hits that tail glow button, all right,
yeah,
a little scared.
yeah, exactly. Um, and I got the pleasure of playing him last year, and I think I got a better feel on Kote's playstyle than I did, and even last year, like I still made a couple mistakes when I'm like, man, I know Kote, but just you get Manaphy in there, and you're like, crap.
Yeah, Kote's a versatile guy. It's
Yeah,
he's probably gonna have a good season.
yeah.
You know?
And I want to say A-Drive, I think, quietly had a really good draft. Even like for the expansion teams, especially.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a pretty well put together team.
Yeah, he definitely, I think you know, all of the expansion teams did really well with the pool they had,
Yeah,
um, which is interesting.
most definitely.
It's very
I
interesting,
mean,
because
yeah,
they didn't necessarily have a ton of things to work with, even
right.
having two teams on reserve for them. Like,
But I'm glad to see that they didn't just get shit teams. Like that was a worry that some of the people in the GBA had, is that the pool is not deep enough. They're not going to have a good team. But
yeah,
I think a lot of these guys will all contend. I think
yeah,
everyone across the board got better. Um, so
yeah.
I don't think it's possible we have a couple of goose egg teams.
I
But
really
I
don't
think
think we
that,
do. I don't think we have another dual weather on our hands,
yeah.
but you might. I mean,
I mean,
there are
you
still
might someone.
there are still trades that could happen. I guess
Yeah.
Nick
Uh,
could trade for Ninetales and run dual weather Sand Sun to combat the Kote threat, but
I mean, I don't. Goodness. Uh, uh, but
so
yeah, I think everyone's team got better. So I think you're going to see a lot of the middle of the pack teams, and then a
yeah.
few that kind of pull away.
That's good. That's the most fun, Like it was
Yeah.
really fun in your conference last season towards the end of the playoffs because so many people were still viable for so long.
Right.
Like the other conference was decided by week 7 or week 8 or something like that. But it was like you
Right.
guys were literally, it wasn't decided until the last week, and you were still
Yeah.
in it
Even
until like the
myself,
ninth week. Yeah, like.
and and I was what 5-7. I still could have made it in the last week at
Yeah,
six
something
and
like
seven
that.
or
Yeah,
whatever,
like
6-6.
it was crazy, but
Yeah.
so the plan's not to go 6-6 or six. You're gonna win it this year, right? Like
Oh yeah.
you're gonna give Nick the one win, and then beat him once, and then
Yeah.
undefeated, or
I mean, that's the hope, isn't it? I mean, we don't want to. I want to take as few losses as possible, but I mean, in I think the conferences are really even this year. So I mean, I can't even say I play in the tougher conference,
no?
but I mean, the conference is really tough,
Yeah, they're all tough.
especially
I
with
mean,
the top teams, Nick, Gubs, and Kote. They all look really dangerous.
yeah, I agree with you there. But I think that's gonna wrap it
But
up.
fuck them, I'm gonna beat them all.
Yeah, there you go. That's how you go out.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how you go out.
I just
Thank
realized who I was. Yeah, undefeated, champion of the universe.
Yeah, do stuff. Bravebird, everything. Still zero things on the team with Bravebird.
Yeah, I haven't heard about that yet. I mean,
Nah.
I got a lot about that last year.
Well,
People were actually upset. I was like, oh, sorry.
it's a thing, man.
It
But
is a thing.
thank you very much for joining me for the interview. Check out Fizz's channel. Sometimes he posts stuff up there. Mostly it's just now he does GBA stuff. You
Yeah.
can also check him
Check
out
it
on
out this season.
yeah. You can
That's
also
for
check out his Twitter accounts. He does some work, writes a couple of articles for some websites and things like that. He's a pretty good writer. You can go
Oh,
check
yeah.
out that kind of stuff too.
Please
So,
do.
yeah. All of that'll be in the description. Thank you, Fizz, for joining me. And
Oh, thank you for having me, sir.
yeah, we'll see you guys for another video later.